Hi everybody, welcome to Beyond the Lines. My name is Sarah, I'm the artist behind Pinselgeschichten, and this week I'm having the second sub-series episode in this big Beyond the Lines series. It's all about orange again. But this time around I'm working with Copics, and remember last week I had very limited supplies. This week it's even worse, because I actually just have one orange tone and I'm completing this chameleon here. I'm cheating a tiny bit with an orangey skin tone because I don't have a colorless blender from the Copics, which I would have used would I have had it and just had the orange with it. But I don't have the colorless blender, so I had to go with an orangey skin tone to have something to feather the orange out into. I'm gonna talk about what style you might want to go for if you have super limited supplies, meaning you maybe just have one or two colors and maybe a black and a white, which are technically not colors, so you might go into the pop artsy style a bit more and not go for the realistic or illustration-y kind of styles that you might want to prefer when you have more than one tone of a color or more than one color of a certain supply that you're working with. So let's see what I do here and enjoy. Here we go. So this time it's Copics, like I said, and orange at that. Just like last week, I have hardly any orange, meaning I got one Copic marker. So I do have, my black Copic markers. I do have two because one is almost empty, and a white gel pen to help out a bit. But I had to cheat a tiny bit. Actually, this is a skin tone color, so it's not a YR but a E. But it's closest to an orange that I have, so it's a skin tone that has quite a bit of red in there, but not in a pinkish way, but in an orangey way. So I'm gonna take that for accents or just mixing in stuff for the orange. Otherwise I would have one solid layer, and that's not fun. So I'm gonna zoom you in a bit, maybe like that. So I did choose this chameleon here to be colored, and what I want to do is have some sections that are solid and some sections that are like feathered in. So I'm gonna start off with the section I know I want to have colored in solid, and I'm giving it a good old layer. Now I'm having my plate underneath my acrylic plate, because you can see the color bleeds through quite a bit. But yeah, well, what to do? Sometimes it doesn't bleed as much, and sometimes it really bleeds a lot. Especially if the markers are super juicy. But I mean, since I'm having not the most intricate pattern here, I might get a way of having some bleed going on in the chameleon. And therefore having the ink show through from the other side. So let's bring in the orange and color a bit of the lower section. He looks like kind of fun. So if you're that limited with supplies as I am here right now, there's not a lot of fancy techniques you might be able to do. But still, don't be discouraged. You can still do some stuff with only two colors. Might just take you a bit more effort to do something. So I'm gonna blend the orange with the skin tone. Just really get the page saturated with ink for the colors to have a chance to bleed together. You just go over the same sections over and over again until you have a saturation of color that you like. Alrighty, now very quick and dirty, I have my main sections down. Don't worry that this looks pretty unclean for now, but what I'm gonna do now is put in these sections that I know I want to have black. And then I can decide where I want to put other colors. But if I'm working with these few tones, or just one color, one tone of it, I like to have the sections colors first that I'm 100% sure about. And I'm gonna have a few black sections throughout the tail of the animal. And thus make the warm orange look even more warm, because the black is sucking away any reflection, any light. It's very heavy, it's very solid, dark, nothing black, and that makes the orange pop against it, just like last week with the clownfish. It's actually a very nice way to work with oranges if you don't have enough of tones to have variation in your oranges. But don't worry, the upcoming weeks it's not gonna be all of the same. I'm gonna have, I think, watercolors next week if I remember correctly, and there I can mix my cold oranges, so I'm definitely gonna change things up for next week because I can, because I finally have the chance to work with an apricot cold color, cold tint of an orange. Okay, now I got the main blacks in. I'm pretty sure, or I'm actually very sure, that I want to have these little scallops outside be black as well. But I also want to have some shading here, so what I'm gonna do is give this another layer of orange just so that the alcohol is wet, and then I'm gonna bring in a bit of black and feather that out. All right, so let's do the scallops just to make sure that I have my darks in place before I decide what to do with the rest. Oh, I hate this. Let's see if I can work better with the chisel. I doubt it because these scallops are really tiny, but let's try. Okie dokie, so now let me think for a minute what I want to do with the rest. I feel I want to have a black separation here, very heavy one. Yeah, let's go about it as I think. I'm gonna have a very heavy one because now I have to move into the almost pop artsy kind of a style and have the contrast with those few colors that I have. And I have to make it work to the point that it's not quote-unquote too orange and not too much black either. So I guess the subtask of this coloring page here is not only to work with the oranges, but to make them work with a contrast that is rather heavy. So a heavy contrast, a very in your face kind of a contrast, but still make things work the way that you don't lose too much. Meaning you still have to have harmony in there and not just contrast, and then the page or the painting drawing here looks so wild that that your eyes start to hurt when you look at it, you know. So the challenge here is to find the balance between those two things, like having contrast but not to the point that it's just too crazy, you know. Okay, I'm gonna outline those flowers as well. What I will do is just take the orangey skin tone and color them in a feathered way. So then they fade pretty much, it will fade to white, and that will make a very light kind of coloring for that section of the chameleon's tail.
And the same goes here. The not so awesome thing is that on this particular paper here, which is not a Copic marker paper, the alcohol bleeds, so it seeps way further than I'm putting it down, which makes for not the prettiest edges, so I really have to be careful here that I don't screw it up too much. Okay, now let's color in some light. To let that alcohol here dry and then see how dark it actually is, if it's enough or if I need to add, because here it looks way lighter than here, so I'm not sure yet if I want to add color to the flowers or if I want to leave them as they are. But for now, going to do the same thing over here, because repetition of color makes something look very harmonic to the viewer's eye. It's very soothing, it's very calming. So I'm going about those flowers that I had at the tail the same way as I'm going to have this big flower here. Now the question is, what am I gonna do with the rest? I wanna have very heavy separation of just orange here for the purpose of having clean orange and also for the purpose of cleaning up the line work where the alcohol did bleed too much. Just wanna have a solid layer of orange there. And also want the orange here just as a solid to frame the leaf pretty much. In the midsection I'm gonna mix the orange with the skin tone. And the paper really saturated so that the ink flows very lightly without much effort. Right, let's have some more black. You very easily get the hang of it, trying to figure out how much of a thick outline or a black or a dark gray you need, and to make colors pop that you want to use and have the almost pop arty style. And I really like to work with that when it comes to like bold designs and well, just things that that I like to work with for, like I said, very bold designs. So one thing that I'm gonna do here again is saturate the whole section to be colored. This time around I'm not gonna go as much with the pattern as with the flow. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna bring in the orange from the lower section. And then bring the black on top. Looks scary right now, but it should be fairly blendable. Okay, main coloring done. Now I just gotta clean up. I do like the flowers here, so I'm not gonna change that way they are colored, but I will add the black half circle. Oh, I hate it when my markers are almost empty. Okay, so now that this is colored, I will go in as a last step with my gel pen, and I'm gonna add some tiny details, and I'm gonna call it a drawing. I actually don't like that white line here, so I'm just gonna go over it again with black and negate the gel pen there. Should cover it up well enough. Yep, not too shabby. Alrighty, so that's my piece for this week with actually just 3 markers, black, orange, and a skin tone, and the skin tone only because I had to cheat a bit. So I hope you enjoyed watching along. Next week, if I remember correctly, it will be watercolors, so stay tuned for that. I hope you enjoyed and had fun. If you have any questions or comments, please leave them in the comment section below. And on Friday this week, there will be close-up photos and a list of the numbers of those Copics and a bit of a story why I did do what I do on my blog. So hop on over in case you're interested. You will also see lots of stories and photos for all the other artwork that I published this week. You can see that's the back side. It's like, yeah, they bleed through, so this is rather prominent, but it looks kind of funny. Oopsie, my pens go everywhere. So I'm gonna call it a day for now. Actually, the sun comes up in my region. It's almost 6 a.m. Time to finish work and go to bed. Bye everybody, I'm gonna see you next week on Beyond the Lines. And again, do all the good YouTube stuff, like, share, subscribe if you like this video and want to help me out. And I very much appreciate it. So thank you and bye bye.